Ready? We're going. Well, welcome. Sorry we're a few minutes late. We were trying to get this like multiple camera angle thing going. Are we upside down? Are we right side too?
I don't know. What do you mean?
You want to check? Because I can see my phone is upside down.
That's why I said it was so weird how you put it on there. But I will check.
So just bear with us for a second.
Why don't you guys let us know if we're upside down or not?
Are we upside down or am I upside down? Am I right side too? Anybody commented yet?
No. People are watching. But you're right.
I'm right side up?
Good. You're good.
Okay, we're good. So because I did some jokes while we were running the blender last time, I wanted to show you that I actually do know a few jokes, and they were so good last night, but I wanted to tell you this one. So back in the day when groups used to be able to congregate, there was a cowboy that made his way into an old tent revival. And this preacher, he set up this tent. He was expecting tons and tons of people. He was expecting the place to get packed out. And the sermon was supposed to start at 7 o'clock. And so he's there. 7 o'clock comes. No one's there yet. It's just him and this cowboy. 7:15, still no one. 8 o'clock finally rolls around, and it's just that one cowboy. So the preacher comes, and he sits down next to the cowboy, and he says, well, I was expecting a bunch of people, but man, I guess it's just the two of us. And the cowboy said, well, preacher, I'm not a preacher, I'm just a cowboy, but I'll tell you, if my cattle, if I had a herd of cattle and only one came in, I'd still feed it. So the preacher said, you know, you're right. So he jumped up on the stage and he preached. And I mean, this guy preached. He preached and preached, and he brought it. He was sweating. He was preaching hardcore. He preached for 2 hours. And he gets done preaching, and he sits down next to the cowboy. He's so exhausted, and he says, so, what'd you think, cowboy? And the cowboy looks back at the preacher and says, well, I'm just a cowboy. I'm not a preacher, but if I had one cattle that came in, I wouldn't feed him when I was going to feed the herd. And that's the start of our cooking class with our nice joke. If you're joining me right now, give me a hashtag #1. Let me know where you're listening from. If you join later as the recording, #2. Let me know where you're listening from. Hopefully you got the memo to prep your veggies ahead of time. So I'm going to show you a few things that we have prepped. We have our mushrooms, and they are sliced, ready to go. We are going to caramelize them, so they will shrink down quite a bit, but you can see the mushrooms right now. We have a whole yellow sweet onion. Now this was a huge yellow onion. I'm not going to use all of that. I mean, like, the onion was like this big. It was huge, okay? So this is a lot of onion. We're not going to use quite all of that. And then I have this is a small zucchini, cubed, so this is the size we're looking for. And then we have garlic minced. And then we have radishes cubed. And the radishes are going to end up tasting kind of like beans. There we go. So the radishes are going to end up tasting kind of like beans, so they're going to be really good. But what we want to do to get rid of, radishes can have that bite, So what we're going to do to get rid of that bite and just soften them up, we're going to stick these in some water ahead of time. So right over here. I'm going to stick these in some water. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and turn that burner on high. I'm going to bring that to a boil.
Who's also here that's watching and making the meal at the same time? Who's cooking with us?
Yeah, who's cooking with us?
Give me a me.
Yeah, that's for sure. Give me a me. Hopefully you're joining us here. How many people we got?
21.
21 people. All right. I also have here my 4 ounces of ground meat. I'm doing 94% lean grass-fed beef. I'm going to go ahead and stick that in my pan. With that, I'm going to also stick in my garlic. Okay. So again, this is a clove of garlic minced. It's a little bit more than a clove, but about a clove of garlic minced. I'm then going to turn on my burner here and put a splash of my Bragg's, which is, hang on, bear with me, everyone.
And Davis has left the stage.
And I'm back. Put a splash of our Bragg's in here. Go ahead and turn this burner on. And then here is the leftover red sauce from last night, right here. So we are going to go ahead and turn the burner on so we can get that simmering down a little bit. There we go, and I have this cooking. All right, and then while that is doing its thing, we're also going to be caramelizing separately. We want to cook the meat with the garlic here, and then I'm going to separately caramelize these bad boys, and then we're going to add it all into our chili. Okay, so that's kind of the process here.
What is these bad boys?
These bad boys, the mushrooms and onions.
Okay.
We're going to do these separately once we're done with caramelizing our meat here. So we'll get this going. You know what, I'm going to throw a little bit of this in here. There we go. So I just put a little bit of the onions. You don't have to do it this way, but that little bit of onion is going to help us with just some moisture in the pan here.
I have to readjust the camera, otherwise it's falling because you put it on the side. So I'm sorry, bear with me.
Bear with us. Adjusting the camera here. All right. Did you get it?
No, I need to put it back on. In the middle. All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now we're back in action.
All right, so while this is happening, I did want to show one skill and go through some things with a bell pepper. Because I do want to be teaching you guys different things. So hopefully, let me know if you got the memo and if you are, a couple things. Let us know if you're cooking with us, number one.
We got Bonnie's cooking with us, Kathleen.
Bonnie, Kathleen, awesome.
Trudy,
great.
More people, but I lost my comments.
Did you find them on there? If you swipe to the left.
Lynette is cooking with us.
All right, Lynette.
Yeah, and we have a lot of people tuning in.
A lot of people tuning in. Wonderful. So, if you're cooking with us, let me know if you got the memo to do this. So what we're going to do ahead of time each day is prep your veggies, so that way we don't have to take the time to prep all the veggies. So hopefully you did that. But I will try to show you a different skill every day. So I wanted to show you how to properly cut a bell pepper and just some really kind of fun things. And with a bell pepper, I'm going to go through a process that the professional chefs use when cutting bell peppers. So we're going to look at how it's done professionally and do the same thing. And make sure I also stir my radish. Woo! Radishes over here as they're getting ready. And we want these to be nice and soft. Basically, when you're cooking something, you put it in with something else. I want it to be not quite as soft as what it's going to be when it goes in my chili, because it'll still soften up in the chili. And I don't want it to be mush, because we're not going for like a mashed potato type feel with that. Okay, we got our sauce starting to boil here, starting to bubble, so I'm going to make sure I stir this, keep things going with the sauce. Turn my heat down to low, and then we're just about done with our hamburger here.
Mary is saying, from someone who hated cooking, I am enjoying all of your tips.
All right, Mary. Mary's been following along and doing awesome. So good to have you with us today, Mary. Great, proud of you. So proud of you. You know, I was the same way when I started my health journey. You know, I didn't know how to cook. I could cook frozen pizza and macaroni and cheese, and I had to read the instructions. And I was the type of person, like, if the instructions said use a cup of water or 2 cups of water, I thought there was like a water pasta ratio. So I would like measure that out and be super specific. But now I don't need to. You know what's really cool? When I didn't put any seasoning in this meat here, but just the, could you hand me a spoon? Just the garlic and onion in here will make this really tasty. So I'm going to try this here. That was a massive spoon.
I know. Well, I'm the video person.
This is a shovel. Just great flavor. I'm going to feed my video person here.
Oh, hot. Oh, good.
Okay, so my meat is done. So what I'm going to do here, add my meat. Turn off my front burner. Add my meat right into my chili pot.
So Davis,
Yes.
how much chili did you have in there?
So, well, I don't, this is whatever, so, good question. So yesterday we made a whole blender full of the red sauce. And it's not chili yet, it's red sauce. So we had a whole thing of that, and this is the leftover. So what I'm trying to show you is just how I cook, which is exactly this way. I make something, and then I take the leftovers and make something else. Because it's a lot more practical, and then you have repurposed leftovers that are really tasty. Really tasty. So I'm going to mix this in. You can see kind of the ratio here. So this is only 4 ounces of meat. You can put more in, but honestly you don't need as much as you think you need. So that's going to be plenty to give us a nice flavor. And if you're on the Lose It stage of the VitaLife program, you'll be able to have plenty of that. It'll be really, really tasty. All right, so let's talk a little bit. Would it be easier from here for showing this? Or here?
Here would be good.
Here would be good? Mm-hmm. So let's talk about green peppers and peppers in general. Okay? Good?
Yeah.
So
put this
I'm
down.
going to cover this. We're still waiting for the radishes to boil. Okay? And by the way, I love my knife set. Okay, this is my knife set here. It's a great knife set. All fits in this block. Take the time and take the money and invest in a good quality knife set. You're not going to be able to find that at Walmart, Target, Walgreens, Bed Bath & Beyond. Places like Sur La Table, professional cooking stores. Get a good set of knives. Not even Amazon. Amazon really doesn't even have a good set of knives. A good set of knives are going to make cooking a lot more fun, a lot more satisfying. And then you take care of these. They're like your babies. And those of you who know me and my knives, they are like my babies. Okay, so with our green pepper, or any pepper.
Bonnie asked, meat, garlic, onion, and splash of brags?
Yes, meat, garlic, onion, splash of brags, and then we just added that to the pot. Okay, we're still waiting for the radishes to boil here while we're doing this, and then we're going to be adding this stuff in a little bit. Okay, so professional chefs, when they cut a green pepper, they start, again, we're using the claw grip, so our fingers are retracted, so that way we don't chop our fingers. And then when you're cutting in general, you want to let the knife cut. We don't have to really push down very hard. When we have a nice sharp knife, we just kind of do this motion. Okay? So we're going to cut right about here. Our goal is to cut out the seed part of the green pepper. So we're going to just make a cut here. Okay, we got most of the seeds. We got a few seeds in there still. You can see that. And then we're going to cut the bottom part of the green pepper. Now when I learned this, I was like, well, what about all of this stuff? Well, they said that most of the time, because again it's about presentations, the chefs just throw this part away. Well, I just eat this part. Mm-hmm. Same thing here. So, sorry, I took a big bite of pepper. There's a big bite of pepper. How many of you like my chef hat, by the way?
Let me see some likes and loves for Davis's chef.
Or emojis that look like chef hats. Okay.
He's going all out.
I'm going all out. You got the chef coat thing going on. Okay. When you then you're gonna open up your bell pepper. So you just cut all the way to the bottom. Okay, and open it up like so. Okay, and then you just grab this part, throw it out, shake out the seeds. Alright, there we go. We're going to get rid of the seeds that are here because we don't want those to end up in our chili. You know what happens if you have seeds end up in your chili? Anybody know? You grow green peppers in your stomach. Right.
You're getting lots of love that you look adorable.
Ah, great. Okay, so here's our green pepper. This is some interesting stuff too. With the green pepper, we're going to go ahead and cut off this fleshy part, okay? So we're getting rid of that part in the different sections it's available. Just be careful you don't cut yourself. Okay? Now, if you look really closely, do you see like the texture that the green pepper has? You guys see that? Okay, that texture. what I want to show you is, I'm going to just cut this to make it simpler for us to look at. If this watery looking texture is what gives green peppers the bitter flavor. If you have a green pepper, there's a mild bitter flavor. So what I want you to do, if you're participating with me, cut off just a little edge here. So we have this, and then we're going to very carefully, if we have a sharp knife, it's easier to do, we're going to just take off that top layer of the green pepper, and that's going to cause it to be a sweeter green pepper. And I'm just showing you this. We're not going to do this for our chili necessarily, but I just want to show you what it does. So you see how I'm very thinly taking off the top layer of the green pepper. Okay, just like so. So it's almost like we just peeled back some skin. You can see it there. And then I'm going to cut this. Now, you see the difference between the two since I've cut off that part. This one looks kind of smooth, and then this one has that texture to it. Okay? Now, what I want you to do, if you're doing this with me, I want you to try each of them. This one will be a little bit more bitter, and this one will be a little bit more sweet. So do the bitter one first. Tastes like a normal green pepper. Now just do the one without it. Make sure you kind of swallow what you had. And it's sweeter. All right, so this is something interesting to try. I'm going to give it to my chef, sous chef over here that's running the camera.
Oh yeah, I could taste the difference.
So you can taste the difference, of course. I wasn't lying to you guys. All right. So then we're going to cut the green pepper into sections like this, and then we're going to dice it. All right. So cutting it like this, I do want to get rid of this. This will be really bitter as well, so I do want to just take that part off. Okay. Okay, same thing with this. And I've got a seed over here. Don't want green peppers growing in my stomach, so get rid of that.
Did that already happen to you?
Yeah, I already did. I mean, you know, the nice thing when you have green peppers growing in your stomach, you're just not hungry.
Ron's watching.
Hey, Ron. Who else is watching? Make sure you say hey so I can say hi back. Let us know if you're cooking with us. So I'm just now cubing our green peppers. Okay, so cubing here. All right. And I missed that guy.
Jinju is asking, if we don't have green peppers, what's the best next color that's similar in flavor?
Any color. It's not going to really, like, they do taste a little bit different, but it's not going to make any real difference in the profile tasting of the chili. If anything, you know, if you want to make your chili more interesting, just add in different colors, and there's also a different nutrition, and that's part of what gives the the different colors in the green pepper as opposed to a yellow pepper and a red pepper. There's a little bit different nutrition in the different colors. So the variety of colors is better. But since we're just cooking with this one particular color tonight. Okay, so what I'm going to do, we've got our radishes are boiling, so I'm going to turn that down so it's more of a rolling boil. Mix them in a little bit. And then I'm going to try one now. Okay, so you want to try one. All right. See if we're cooked yet. And again, this is supposed to replace beans. So we really want this beans, yes. So we want this to be the texture of beans. Okay? So that's what we're going for. So when you bite into this, think bean, like pinto bean or lima beans, because we're not doing the starches in our chili, because this is a stage 2 approved chili, but we do want to still have that texture. And when we're dealing with flavors, beans don't really have a big flavor to them. It's more about the texture. So if we can mimic the texture of a bean, then it's going to trick our minds to think that we're eating beans, and we're going to just really enjoy this chili, okay?
As you're enjoying this chili, I just wanted to say, I mean not chili, your bean radish. Yes. Stage 2 meaning the
lose it stage.
Okay.
Yeah, my fault. Stage 1. Sorry, all right. Stage 1, lose it. So they still need some time. It was a little crunchy still, so I'm going to keep those in there. We're going to do something called blanching here with those in a minute, because once they get to the right Softness, we want to stop the cooking process. So we're going to be doing that here in just a little bit. So I got my green peppers are all now done. Okay. All right, now I want to pre-cook all these things.
Crap.
Okay, so I want to pre-cook all these things. So I'm going to grab a little bit larger frying pan. Splash of rags. Okay. All right, but I want you to think through, okay, and this is a question. Let me turn this down here. All right. Of these foods that we're cooking, which one would you put in first? If we're going to cook something more than the rest of it, which one would you pick? So I'm going to give you guys a minute to let me know what you're going to be picking.
David Dewar wrote, Davis, you're a skilled chef. I forgot again to take the bottom cardboard of my microwave pizza. I need your skills.
Yes. Yeah, when I was cooking pizza, like back in the day, like 10 years ago, I didn't know if I was supposed to remove the cardboard or not because the instructions didn't say. Yeah, good memory, David. Nice to have you joining us.
Mary is saying zucchini.
Zucchini, all right. And why do you think zucchini, Mary?
And Jinju says onion.
Okay.
Dorothy says onion. Nina says green peppers. Green peppers from Lynette. We're getting all sorts of
answers. So here we go. There really isn't necessarily a right or wrong answer, but I will say the zucchini would probably be last because zucchini is really, really, really heavy in the water, and the zucchini is already fairly soft. Okay, so the zucchini again is supposed to be like another bean, and if you just eat zucchini plain, it's already pretty soft. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the onions. Okay, and I'm not going to cook all of them. I'm going to cook a good portion of them. All right, so you're going to put about that much onion in. All right, so I'm going to get the onions started. Then the next thing I'm going to put in is the green pepper. Then I'm going to add the mushrooms, and then I'm going to add the zucchini. And then I also have, this is my, this was frozen. This was riced ahead of time, and then I froze it, so sometimes you'll get a little bit brown color, but this is the riced cauliflower that we're going to then cook next. So we can get it kind of cooked texture-wise, throw it in there, and this whole thing is going to be amazing. In this recipe that we're doing here, we're going to get the seasoning part. This is what is going to make it taste like chili. Okay, so we've got some new ingredients, some seasonings that we're going to be using. As far as ricing the cauliflower, if you buy a head of cauliflower, if you have one of these graters, the big end of your grater works well. You can hold the head of cauliflower, hold it over a pot, and grate like that. A food processor also is even better. Or if you're like me and a little lazy, you can buy it already pre-riced. Peter Rubis sells it pre-riced in Plainfield. Costco also sells big, massive bags of the pre-riced cauliflower. So it's kind of up to you what you want to do. But I stopped ricing my own cauliflower as soon as I found out that they will rice it for you. So it's a game changer. Okay, I'm going to try our... mix everything here, make sure that we're not burning anything. Make sure you don't forget your chili, your big pot of chili over here, that you mix that. And this is, by the way, when we get done, you're going to see this is a super hearty chili. Like, you know, there's no beans, there's no rice, it's very low in carbohydrates, but it is going to be a stick to your ribs, good old-fashioned chili feel, even though it is low calorie, stage 1 approved, so it will assist you in your weight loss efforts, and some of that will be dependent upon, you know, how you are with like tomatoes and red sauce, because sometimes people have allergies or issues with some of those things, so that could be an issue. And if you're looking for a nice soda replacement, we have at our office something called Zevia. And I'm going to be drinking a Zevia Coke while we are prepping our meal. My favorite, this is a cola, so for those of you who are diet drinkers, this is going to taste a lot like diet. I wanted to show you something that's interesting with the Zevia because there's no artificial stuff in it. So it's clear. So it's a little weird to be tasting Coke. It tastes just like Coca-Cola. Clear though. But anyway, if you haven't tried it, we carry all the flavors. There's also kids drinks Zevia makes and energy drinks that Zevia makes and teas, sweetened teas. They're all very, very good.
My
stuff.
favorite
Paulina's favorite.
is the Coke.
And now we're going to add
Christine
in.
says she loves the cream
Oh,
soda.
the cream soda. Christine, you're my friend. That is my favorite.
Jinju says, I love the hop teas. You
The hop tea.
and
Oh, I forgot about the
both.
hop tea. Yes, there's also, we sell a hop tea. By the way, all this is available. We have a brand new website up. You can buy all of this stuff online. It's free shipping of orders over $100. The hop tea is awesome. It tastes like beer and it's 0 calories. It's just tea. Really, really tasty. Don't know exactly how they did that, but it's really good. All right, so I continue to adding stuff here, adding in my green peppers, now adding in my mushrooms. Again, all of this stuff cooks down so much.
Shamel is asking, can you use sugar-free, no salt added pasta sauce instead of the puree?
Yes, you can. You can do that. If you're on the lose it stage of our program, the other thing that you need to look out for is oil. Most pasta sauce adds in olive oil, so it's hard to find it without the oil. It is made, but it's hard to find. So that's the problem with the commercially made ones. But you can find it without added sugar, but you have to also be able to find it without oil. Now, if you're not on the lose it stage of the program, then that's not a problem. I will say, you're gonna find a lot more enjoyment if you will make your own. A lot more enjoyment, and it's way cheaper to make your own. I want to say, if I had to guess how much all of the red sauce cost us, it's probably the equivalent of 3 or 4 of the big jars of like spaghetti sauce. Each jar of spaghetti sauce is like $2 to $4. That whole pot with what we cooked yesterday as well was probably around $3 to $4 for the whole pot. So quite a bit of savings there if you make it your own. And the thing is too, you can make them much bigger. You can get a big old pot, fill it up, and then freeze it, and you have red sauce for months and months and months. So you go through the same process. It doesn't really take that much more time to make more of it.
So what you've put in there so far is...
So far we've got green peppers, we have onions, we put in our mushrooms, and we're just caramelizing. I'm going to add a little bit more. If you look, we're kind of getting a little dry, so I'm going to add another splash of my Bragg's.
So how are you just eyeing it if it's dry?
Yeah, I'm just eyeing it.
This is for like those people that don't cook like myself.
Yeah, just eyeing it. I put it,
Last one.
suicide. And it's really good. Even just these mushrooms with the splash of Bragg's is really tasty. Really, really tasty. We were enjoying our mushrooms last night with our meal. All right, let's try our...
The one we made is a bit spicy from the salsa.
Yeah.
That was the comment.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And you can tame that down a little bit with buying a very mild salsa. So that's also prepping you for the chili, which is going to be a little bit spicier. And you can make it more spicy or less spicy depending on what you add to it. All right, so we're going to let this cool here for a second and this is our bean replacement. And again, so these are both of these are going to be our bean replacements.
Put it higher.
Both of these are going to be our bean replacements. Whew, it's still hot. Okay, that's perfect. So, what we're going to do, blanching is where you immediately stop the cooking process. Because the vegetable will still be cooking if there's hot water in the vegetable, like there is with the radishes. So I'm going to turn the heat off on the radishes. Stir this a little bit.
Smells good, guys.
Smells good. How's your guys' smelling over there? All right, so I'm going to strain out this. Okay.
The radishes.
Straining out the radishes. Okay. And then I'm going to run cold water over the radishes so they stop cooking. Okay? Otherwise, they're still going to cook. And you want to feel them and make sure they're cold. This is called blanching. And again, we're doing this so we get a bean-like taste. So that's the purpose of that. All right, I'm just going to set those aside as we continue to caramelize here. Now I'm going to go ahead and add in my zucchini. All right. Let that cook for a little bit. Make sure you stir your chili. Don't forget about that. We don't want anything burning. So again, you kind of like really scrape on the bottom, because what happens if you just stir, it sticks to the bottom, and that's when you end up burning something. Okay. All right, we're looking pretty good here. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my cauliflower in my chili, but I'm going to base my cauliflower based on how much of this other stuff I have, because this is going to be one freakingly hearty chili. I'm telling you, we're doing a hearty chili. Oh, by the way, did you guys hear about the restaurant on the moon? You got to respond and say yes or no if you've heard about the restaurant on the moon. We have responses yet?
Not yet.
Not yet? All right, tell me if you've heard about the restaurant on the moon.
I think people are busy being
They're
in
busy
the kitchen.
cooking. That's good.
What's the question?
Have you heard about the restaurant on the moon?
No. People are saying
No.
no.
You haven't heard about the restaurant on the moon? The food there is great, but it has no atmosphere.
Oh, Davis and his jokes.
All right, so we're looking pretty good here. If you can see that. The mushrooms are still a little bit hard because they're pretty thick mushrooms, but oh, they taste great. So I'm going to just go ahead and add all this to the chili.
So, I think Mary said, let's see, it's something funny. Although I heard it was out of this world.
Oh, that one's good too. I heard it was out of this world. The food was great, and it had no atmosphere. Ah, nice.
Christine wrote, I am a huge bulk cooker.
Oh, yeah.
Please let us know if there is any recipe as we go along that is not good to freeze.
Got it. So if I'm going to freeze this, great question. If I'm going to freeze this, I'm not going to put the, what you'll want to do is freeze the sauce. The sauce freezes magnificently. What doesn't freeze so well is the watery vegetables. The green peppers don't do too bad in something like this. Mushrooms are fine, but your zucchini does not do well. And onions are okay in this type of setting, but I wouldn't do the zucchini. But what works better is just doing the red sauce and freezing the red sauce in portions. That way you can just heat up the red sauce and throw the veggies or whatever you're doing in it, or use it as a sauce on for like spaghetti or something like that. So that's what I would recommend with that. So here we've got, you can see how hearty this chili is.
Hold on, let me get my camera angle. Ooh.
You can see how hearty this chili is. This is a really, really hearty, really hearty chili. And we're not quite done yet. We're going to add in our cauliflower, our riced cauliflower. And our riced cauliflower is going to be like rice. Okay? So again, I have a big frozen brick of this, so we're going to have to unthaw it here. Same thing, I'm going to put a splash of rags. Okay? And work on unthawing this while we cook. There we go.
Let's see what we can do here with this camera. Oh. This is when Paulina's trying to
Paulina's trying
crazy.
to do 2 cameras at one time.
There you go. That's good for now. But here's your... This camera, Davis, is your people who are in the group. So anybody who wants the best angle, like the group here.
Yeah, if you're watching and you're not a part of the 20-day challenge group, we're cooking healthy weight loss meals every night. They're super hearty, they're super delicious, and we're just having a blast together here as we're all quarantined. How about you guys? Are you guys in quarantine? Let us know if you're quarantined or if you're still going to work right now. Of course, we are doing remote programs. We are shipping equipment to people's house so they can still scan, so we can still support them. We're doing remote body composition analysis as best as possible, coaching and all that stuff.
Poor Jane. She's saying she's having a fun time watching this today, but it's a reset day.
Oh yes, Jane's on a reset day. Well, Jane, you could do this for tomorrow. Or you could make it for Chico. He would really appreciate that tonight.
Tonight?
Yeah. All right, let's see here. Are we... Basically what I'm trying to do, since this was frozen, I just want to get it warm. And it's still cold. So I'm going to keep it going there because I want to get it nice and warm. All right. So how many of you joined for the motivational moment this morning? Let me know if you were a part of the motivational moment.
I'm sorry, I didn't see these messages. So
and we got some messages.
Yeah, if our cauliflower is not frozen, do we still cook it?
I would just a little bit, because if you put it right in the pot, so if you noticed, basically everything that we put in the pot, we cooked it just a little bit ahead of time, because we're not cooking it in the chili. We want it to be ready to go. We're just heating it up in the chili. We're heated our red sauce up. So we want it to be kind of how we're going to have it once it's in there. Okay, so we don't want to use that as the cooking mechanism. We're cooking it and using that as just the combining mechanism.
Got it. Hope that answered it.
That answer that question?
If it's rice, now you can just throw it in, but then let it simmer for a bit. Oh, that was the replying. Thank you, Katie Jaspers.
Yeah, and you can do that too, because rice cauliflower doesn't take much to cook. And by the way, if you're not used to using cauliflower, if you stick it back in your fridge, it smells really strong. It doesn't mean it went bad, okay? But it does smell like someone just passed gas when you open up your fridge, just to give you a fair warning, okay? And you may have some gas with this as well. So now we're done with the cauliflower, and so we're going to go ahead and add that in.
If we want it a little thinner, what will we add to it? Water or more sauce?
More sauce. Thinner, you're adding more sauce. So even if you have some tomatoes laying around, if you were to stick those tomatoes in your blender, and then just mix it in. That's how you're going to do that. So, Katie, are Autumn and David watching? Autumn and David, for those of you who don't know, Autumn and David, that's my niece and nephew.
They're just the best.
They are just the best. Oh my word, this is going to be an amazing chili. And we haven't even added in
here.
our radishes yet. So I'm going to go ahead and add those in now. Now we're putting everything together. And then we're going to season. We haven't seasoned yet, okay? And remember, the only thing that makes this different from last night so far is going to be the seasoning. You know, we've got a lot of extra vegetables, of course, in here. And I do like a hearty chili. So that is getting started. And I'm going to just go ahead and try it just to see where we're at. That's going to help me know how to season it.
I
Yes.
think the kiddos are watching now, so you could say hi to them.
Well, David and Autumn, hi. It's good to have you guys watching. I am cooking right now, and hopefully you guys are cooking too at my house. We're making chili.
It looks good.
Okay, So we're gonna see what Paulina thinks about the taste of. We really want to figure out. We want to get this red sauce mixture to taste like chili. So I'm gonna give this to Paulina, and she's gonna let me know if it tastes like chili yet. Why did you come over? Can you come over here? Join us over here.
Might be able to if I let go of my cameras.
All right, she's gonna come over here and join us because this is good because I want you to try yours right now too, and let me know if yours tastes like chili yet. Okay? Because that determines how much and what of this we use. Okay?
All right.
Okay.
Hi everyone. Let's see. It's missing something.
It's missing something. That's all you need to know. It's missing something. Okay? Now, watch this. This is really good. Okay, so this is for people who are starting out or new. No, you guys stay over here.
Okay.
For people who are starting out or new, okay? If you taste something and it doesn't taste quite what it's supposed to taste like yet, you can see what's missing. And again, she doesn't know what's missing. Hold that for me. She doesn't know what's missing. Don't tie it yet. But she knows something's missing, okay? Now, I know what's missing, but I want her to try some different things. So we're going to start with a little touch of cumin, and we're just put a tiny drop of cumin in there. All right, now try it. Did that help? Mm-hmm. Okay, so that helped. All right, now go ahead and take another spoonful. Okay.
Okay.
We're going to put a little paprika in there. Okay. Not as much as the cumin.
Not as much as the cumin.
Okay.
Cumin made it chili.
Cumin made it chili-y. And last, chili powder.
Ooh. Is it spicy?
It's a little bit spicy.
Or tell them last time how much chili powder you put in mine.
I did put a little too much chili powder in last time.
A little.
Little. Just a little.
Yeah. So, I would say definitely need the cumin. And this is the paprika, right?
Paprika.
Yeah, that was really good. I definitely add that in. I'd add the chili powder, but I'd be careful for those people who can't eat like spicy foods.
Yes.
I like spicy foods, but my sister's over, so.
Yes. So so this is good. So you can play with what makes sense. Now go ahead and take one more spoonful.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So we're going to add in a little bit of all of them, but we're going to add them in at the amounts that she told us. So we need more cumin. Okay, and cumin's going to give you that really good savory chili flavor without the heat. Okay, so we're going to add some cumin. We're going to add just a touch of paprika. Paprika just gives it that little bit of that Mexican flair. Just a touch of the paprika. And then we're just going to put a touch of the chili powder. We don't want too much because the chili powder will make it spicy. Okay, now try it. Now it tastes like chili.
Now it tastes like chili.
Now it tastes like chili. I'm going to take one more spoonful. You're going to eat before we eat.
I like it.
Now this is the Chipotle. And this is really, this is the Davis Heat Chipotle. You put how much you want in your, because it's spicy, you're going to put how much you want in your chili. But it's going to give it a very amazingly unique flavor. And if you do a chili contest, you're going to win. Unless the judges are messed up. Which they might be. Okay, so we're going to put just a drop of the Davis Heat Chipotle.
Okay.
Okay. We're going to put the same amount of the paprika. Same amount of the cumin. And that touch of the chili powder. Now try. It's going to be spicy, but it's going to be delicious.
I already
smell that it's going to be spicy.
That's really good.
Yeah, now we're talking. Okay, so.
Now we're talking.
Salt and pepper. Thank you so much. Let's all give Paulina a hand.
Oh, you're so welcome. Anytime you need me to try food.
Anytime you need me to try food, I'm sure. And then if you want to catch up with comments. Now, one of the things to remember is we already put salt and pepper in our red sauce. So we may not need more salt and pepper. Okay, so Paulina, in your tasting there, did you really feel like we needed more salt and pepper, or do you feel like we had enough salt and pepper?
That's a great question. I don't think it was missing.
Okay. So it was good.
It was good. I liked it. It was good.
Okay, and again, that's going to be to your taste, so you may want some. So what I'm going to do here is we're gonna play around with how much seasoning that we need here. So I'm going to put, if it was just me, I would put a tablespoon of the chili powder. But again, that's if you like spicy. So if we're gonna, let's write this down as 1 teaspoon of chili powder. I'm gonna put 1 tablespoon of cumin. Okay, 1 tablespoon of cumin, so quite a bit of cumin. I'm gonna put in 1 teaspoon of paprika. And now I want to point out something that we did there with Paulina. I put in, I was just doing little pinches, but basically I put in twice as much cumin as I did paprika and chili powder. So when I'm trying to figure out the mixture, I'm doing the same thing that we just did with her. Okay, so that's what we're doing with this. Could I get a fork?
You may.
Okay.
To move my ensemble.
Perfect. Got a fork. Mixing it up here. And the reason I'm doing this in a separate dish is I want to make sure the ratios are right. And then we're going to put if the ratios taste good, then we'll add it to the chili, we'll mix it around in the chili, and we'll see if the chili tastes right. Because this may be enough, this may not be enough, okay? Alright, so once we get it mixed together there, we're going to go ahead and try a little bit. Alright, this definitely needs salt by itself. So when you taste it, you're going to taste that it needs salt. So what I'm going to do to just confirm that I don't need more salt, I'm going to go ahead and try some of the chili with this mixture in it. Because the flavor was great, but it definitely needed salt. So we're going to see if the salt that we put in yesterday is enough. It's close. I'm going to add a pinch of salt. Okay, so I'm just adding a pinch of the pink salt in there, mixing it up, and then we can always add more salt too. Okay, so we're going to add this to our chili. Mix it in there really, really good. And if you really like hot, you can also do crushed red pepper flakes, cayenne pepper, lots of different easy ways to make this even hotter. But then it's really hot. So just to give you a heads up. So let's mix this in really good. Let's give this a try. So good. Let's let Paulina try a bite here. And I'm making it, I would personally make it just a little bit spicier, but we still have to add in this. Which we're not going to add a ton of this, but we're going to add some of this in.
Do we add it in as we just eat a plate? Like a plate, or do you add it in now? I don't know anything about cooking.
Well, I would add this in individually. Because this is going to be based upon people's hotness preference. How was that?
It's really good.
Why don't you take another spoonful?
If you insist.
Okay, and let's just add a drop of this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. This makes a big difference.
This makes a huge difference. It's so good. Oh, and Katie said that David wants to see Paulina.
David wants to see Paulina. She's right here.
So hopefully he's still watching. I think he means in person.
Probably.
Yeah.
That does. It just makes it so unique adding this. This is the Chipotle hot. You can also add that in with just some Chipotle seasoning. So there are Chipotle seasonings out there. You could even have done that with adding a Chipotle salsa. So another way to do it. But this is just a great addition. All of this stuff, again, is Lose It Stage approved. I would, when I serve mine, I'm going to add in my bowl, I'm going to add some of this, and I'm going to top it with the nutritional yeast, which is like cheese. I'm going to put a little bit of cheese on it. If you're not on the VitaLife program, you could add cheese onto it. I recommend an aged cheese that's blocked, that you shred yourself. Don't buy the pre-shredded cheese. It's coated in sawdust, so don't buy that. It's not good for you. Blocked cheese, you can pre-shred, you can shred it yourself, put it in your chili, and also like a dollop of sour cream, if you really want. It's gonna be good stuff.
You can do sour cream if you're on the
if you're on the lose it stage of the VitaLife program, or if you're trying to lose weight, sour cream is not the best option.
How about cheese if you're trying to lose weight, Davis?
Good question. So cheese, if you're trying to lose weight, is also not recommended because it can be very inflammatory for people. So when you're trying to lose weight, you need to minimize inflammatory responses. So I would stay away from all dairy if you're trying to lose weight. Okay, now I like to...
There's a great question that Mary has here.
Yes.
So, this is an awful big pot of chili. Mm-hmm. On the lose it stage, how much would you eat in a sitting?
So, that is an amazing question. So, I put 4 ounces of meat in here. That means you could eat the whole pot.
In one sitting?
In one sitting. And you would still lose weight. Now, for those of you who are like, what? You're not going to be able to eat the whole pot. If you can, man, that's impressive. All right, but because this is surprisingly extremely low in calories still, because we're not adding in all of the junk and we're not adding in all of the heavy carbs. To give you an idea, the zucchini side of that is probably 10 calories. The onion is probably 30 calories. The radishes, maybe 50 to 60 calories. Your ground meat, I think beef is around 70 calories per ounce. So this whole pot of chili, I'm going to be figuring out what all of the calories are for you guys and posting them, but I would guess that this entire pot of chili is like 1,200 calories. So we're talking about like 4 Snickers bars. It's not a lot. Okay, so we are ready to serve and eat.
We are. We did this in an hour.
We did this in an hour.
Good.
So I'm going to get a big old bowl here, straight stuff. And then I enjoy, of course, making everything look pretty. So what I'm going to do here is I have some of my tomato on the vine from yesterday. Okay. So I'm going to make it look pretty like that. I'm going to...
Get in your face.
Add some of this. I like mine spicy. And there is our final product.
Looks good.
So I hope you enjoyed this. If you cooked with me, make sure that you participate, you post your photo. If you are making up and you're a day behind, that's not a problem. Just make sure you cook all the different dishes with us so you can get credit. We'll be updating people a little bit more tomorrow on how everybody's doing with that. And, excuse me. Don't worry, I don't have the coronavirus. Just got some Chipotle down my throat. And we are going to be doing weigh-ins. So weigh-ins are going to be starting tomorrow, and we'll explain tomorrow morning how all that works, how you can weigh in, how you can participate. And the biggest thing you can do right now, we're giving away a $100 Amazon gift card for the person who brings the most people into the group. And we've had a few people that have started inviting people, but bring people into the group. $100 Amazon gift card for the person who brings the most people into the group. And we're giving away lots of different prizes, so you can review that in the welcome video that we had. It was great seeing all of you guys. Thank you for joining me in my house, in my kitchen. And I want to remind you that today is the perfect day to live a vital life.